So what I noticed about the play is that she uses a lot of dialogue to portray different dialects. So Esther has a different dialect than George, who has a different dialect than Mrs. Van Buren, etc. So two different groups that were used are portrayed were the rich elite of Manhattan, and this was an example of a character that portrayed this was Mrs. Van Buren. And then the poor working class, especially the poor black working class, was portrayed by Esther. And one thing that's interesting is that I felt that both these characters were unloved and unfulfilled. Mrs. Van Buren was so in love by her husband and unfulfilled that she ends up, craving these intimate moments with Esther and falls for Esther in, a more serious way. And then Esther also is unfulfilled and unloved, and she wants love so badly that she ends up getting played or catfished or whatever you want to say, and all her money taken away. So I looked up the word dalliance, which is a casual romantic or sexual relationship. And I just thought this shows how important appearances are in this play. They're all trying to look a certain part, and yeah, I also looked up the word prig, and that just means it's a synonym for prude, and so that's kind of how Esther is in this play. I think the play reinvents and reinforces African American experience, our understanding of the African American experience, because I think it shows that some of our stereotypes might be founded in, some truth, but it's really just that it's so hard to break out of those stereotypes because they're so cemented there. So an example of this is that maybe a stereotype would be that African Americans are not as smart, but really it's just that they're undereducated and they're not given the same opportunities that their white counterparts are. An example of this is that Esther is smart but uneducated. She can't read, but she's also very smart. So I definitely think that stereotypes still exist today. The lack of representation on TV and the movies of black individuals is definitely super, prevalent. It's really hard to find an educated, well-spoken character that actually has speaking lines and is, not just a token minority. Also, if you watch the local news, they definitely show a lot of black suspects, and the way that they portray the black suspects is not the same as the way they portray the white suspects. So my two questions for the class is, why do you think the author got Esther and Mark's? Why did you not think the author got Esther and Mark's together? And then, what is the significance of the dialects the author chose?